What's up, everyone? Just want to give you guys a quick review on the Yamaha Bolt after putting about 1,000 miles on it now. And but before I get to the good and the bad, the things that I like and don't like about this bike, I just want to tell you guys first the reason that I got this motorcycle. Just so you guys can have a little background on why I purchased this motorcycle, my experience and all. So about 6-7 years ago, I had a Yamaha 3, and that was my first bike, and I only put about, I would say probably about 500 miles or less on that motorcycle because I did not feel comfortable on it. So I decided that I was going to, well, I sold that bike and then I didn't ride anything for years, but I've always wanted an MT-07 or an MT-09. But at the same time, I always wanted to try a cruiser motorcycle because I took the motorcycle safety course on a little cruiser and I enjoyed it. So I thought a cruiser would be a good idea for me to gain experience. It's not as crazy as a sports bike. And I'm glad I went that route. I got the Yamaha Bolt. The reason I went for the Bolt instead of smaller motorcycles was because I already had an idea of clutch control and all. I just and I didn't want to get a 300 and be bored on the first week. So I feel like the Yamaha Bolt has plenty of power to keep me going. So that's pretty much the reason that I got this motorcycle. Now I'm gonna try to pull over somewhere and try to give you guys my thoughts on the good and the bad. Tell you guys what I think about this bike. Just gonna ride around and find a safe place. Thought this would be a good place, but I don't want to cross that to that side. Alright, so here we go, guys. 1,000-mile review, my Yamaha Bolt. This is a 2017 Yamaha Bolt that I got. It had about 2,300 miles on it. At 20, well, I'm at 3,200 miles now, so 900 miles actually. And I dropped my gloves. So I'm gonna start with the bad things that I don't like about this motorcycle, and I would say the first one would be the seat. This seat is pretty hard, not comfortable at all. So if you're thinking about getting this bike, first thing that I would change on it would be the seat. I don't plan on changing this one because I'm gonna sell this motorcycle at some point, and already explained the reasons on my previous videos, being that I want to get an MT-09 in the future, so I don't want to put too much money into the bike. So the other thing that I don't like about this motorcycle is that it does not have a 6 gear. It only has 5 gears. So that makes it stay on the high rev range whenever you're trying to pass someone on the freeway, if you're doing anything faster than 75. But it rides at freeway speeds just fine. It does 65 to 75 without any issues. It's comfortable. Uh, but anything past that, if you're trying to pass someone, it vibrates a lot. So if you're staying on the freeway and you plan on doing speeds higher than 80 miles per hour for a long time, uh, it gets very, it vibrates a lot. So that's my third issue actually, that it vibrates a lot at high speeds. Um, but these are some of the problems that I had with the motorcycle while I only had less than 500 miles. I think I had about 200 miles on this motorcycle, and I went on a day ride that I put over 280 miles on it. So it could be that the problem was just me because I don't have enough experience. So I was gripping the handlebars super hard. So that could have contributed to the motorcycle feeling like it was vibrating a lot, probably because I was holding too tight, feeling a lot of the vibrations. But now that I have about 1,000 miles on this motorcycle, I feel way more comfortable, and I feel like a ride like that today would be much more comfortable for me compared to when I took it for that ride. Um, let's see, the other thing that I have is the brakes could be a little bit better. They're not terrible, but it would be nice to have some stronger brakes. Um, and there's one more thing that I'm not a big fan of, which is the air filter location. Well, the way that you seat on this bike with the air filter, my knees kind of hit the filter, so it's not very comfortable. Not that the bike is uncomfortable, but you get used to that after a little while. But it's kind of an awkward position. Uh, so these are pretty much the only issues that I have. There's another minor one too that can be changed with different type of foot pegs, and that is because it's an awkward place to put your feet. Like the brakes are too high, so if you and they're too far out too, so I gotta rest my feet under the brakes, so that gets kind of uncomfortable. Uh, but it's not terrible. I mean, I rode on it all day, and I got used to. Yeah, I found a better way to just rest my feet there. All right, so those are the things that I don't like about it. But don't get me wrong, I don't think that makes this motorcycle a bad motorcycle at all. Uh, I think it's an amazing bike. Now let's talk a little bit about the things that I like about this bike. Uh, well, the first thing is the power. The motorcycle has enough power for highway speeds, and also at low speeds, it's not gonna be crazy powerful and too scary for a beginner. I feel like this is a great beginner bike. I did not have that much experience when I started on it, and I feel way more comfortable now. The second thing that I like about it is that it's a nimble motorcycle. Although it is over 500 pounds, it is heavier than the naked sports bike that I want. But it is still on the lightweight side for a cruiser. So that is something that's very good for a beginner, being able to put your foot on the ground and move the bike around. On the first time that I sat on it, it felt extremely heavy and scary, intimidating. But you get used to that after a couple of days. The other thing that I like is that it's comfortable. After, even though it has some awkward things about it, like the air filter, the foot peg, it is still a comfortable bike to ride around. So if you're riding around town, you don't feel a lot of pain. Well, you don't really feel any pain unless you do extra long days like I did. But I feel like that will be with any bike that you ride. You would probably get that little soreness a little bit, especially if you're not used to ride a lot. The other thing that I like is that it's a fun bike. Like the power on it, it's not lacking power for you to go on the freeway, but also when you're riding inside town, gets up to speed quick. It's not a bike that I assume like a 300cc cruiser would be, like the Rebel 300, that you hit the gas and it just doesn't move. It has good torque, and it's just a good bike. It's fun. It's nimble. You can move it around, like do the twisties, go freeway. It's an awesome bike. And the last thing that I think this bike is really good for is for beginners, as I mentioned. Being able to reach your feet to the ground, move the bike around, has enough power for city, freeway, for whatever you want. It's not going to be the most comfortable bike here for taking it on super long rides every day, but there are a few things that you could do to improve that. Maybe different foot pegs, different seat, just a couple other things to make it comfortable. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's pretty much uh, my thoughts on this bike today. I feel like today I like this bike more than when I took it on that super long ride, because I got used to it and got more comfortable on it. So I don't grip the handlebars like I did the day that I took this bike on a long ride. So it feels more comfortable. I feel like today it would be better for me to take a longer ride on it, and I would have way more fun. Not that it wasn't fun, just it was I was kind of sore at the end of the day. So overall, awesome bike. I love it. The only reason I am trying to get rid of it, it's not because there's any problem with the bike at all. It's because I have always wanted an MT-09 or MT-07, and my goal on getting this bike was to try a cruiser, but also to get experience to get one of those motorcycles. So I hope you guys like this video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments and let me know. Peace.